Drew decided he wanted to take a look back at one of the, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best games that Final Fantasy series has seen, especially the Final Fantasy VII compilation, and that is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation Portable. So, and we're playing the portable version here, not the original, so don't be surprised that things look a little blurry, like this intro screen.
It looks great. I don't know what you're referring to. It's
so
fantastic.
It's like 320p by 240.
Yeah.
Very low resolution. And
oh, that brings back memories, that loading screen.
Especially having played the newer version recently, it must be weird seeing, like, you can actually see the number of polygons on the surfaces of the objects.
Yeah. That mountain looks very, very different than I'm used to now. Playing the reunion, like now, what, 15 plus years later or whatnot, what the game looked like to me in playing the new one is what I remember the PSP version looking like. And then I went back and started watching like comparison clips. I'm like, no, that's what it used. No, it's not the same. Okay.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, isn't it?
Yeah, your brain kind of fills in the gaps. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm just thankful that this game held up as well as it did. Because while I can see Chiri's point that it did feel short, like at least the original one did feel short for me, because I was just so invested. I feel like being able to share it this time around and going through it again, it felt like the right amount of story for me. Although something came up this playthrough that y'all might be interested. Do y'all like farming sims, like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing?
Oh yeah, God yeah.
So somebody, Tales from the Fandom, who we hang out on stream a lot, he came up with the concept of, like, after this game, a farming sim with like Zack and Aerith as the main people, and how adorable would that be to have like a farming sim with Zack and Aerith doing their thing. But I digress, because I just get excited about thinking about that. But so this game, for me, I didn't remember how much I enjoyed it until I played it again. Because at the time, like I was so used to portable experiences like Pokemon and Golden Sun and just Game Boy-esque games that I really didn't give PSP the credit, because like even the and you can kind of relate to this to the PS Vita experience. Like, they slowly dwindled down their support for it. Nothing was really coming out. And then what was coming out wasn't necessarily always good. So when this came out, I devoured this game. Because it was so good. It was like playing a PS2, but slightly better in the palm of your hands.
Yeah.
And
literally was just a PS2 in your hand, and for like 2006, 2007, that was mind-blowing.
なあクラウド俺ミッドガルに行かなくちゃクライシスコアファイナルファンタジー7プレイステーションポータブル
I was like auditioning all the time, dabbling in writing music and all these other projects, but I still loved and wanted to play video games, but being able to take it with me was a really, really huge selling point. And the fact that I actually finished this game in my break room and I'm sitting here crying like a freaking idiot, is one of my best memories in gaming ever, because you got so much of the backstory. You learned about Zack, who had been mentioned in OG Final Fantasy VII, which I had just played because I figured out how to get my PSP to play Final Fantasy VII. So to understand the correlation between Cloud and Zack and see Zack and Aerith's story play out in real time, it was an amazing experience, and it was very, very unique for that time in the PSP's life. I don't really remember anything else like it.
It was like, look, even just looking at this cutscene now, it's not as flashy as the newer one, but the animation data for the newer one is identical to this. And this still visually holds up. Like,
yeah, like look at his hair.
Yeah, look at that hair. That is hair in a way only Japan can visualize hair, physically and digitally. There are probably more polygons in Cloud's hair than there are on like the rest of the screen, but they made it work. And Tom, who, if I recall correctly, is only playing through Final Fantasy VII for the first time now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so careful with those spoilers, Drew. You're probably like, who is he? Who even is the Zack guy? How is he relevant to any of this? Do you know? Do you know who he is yet?
I've seen the name. I honestly don't remember. I mean, I know Cloud, but I don't know that I've run into Zack yet.
I think once you finish FF4 or FF7, you should go back or you should play this. You can get the newer one on anything basically, including the Switch, and it vastly improves the gameplay. Personally, it's the same idea, but the combat has more like timing and depth to it now. And to me, this game is essential to the overall Final Fantasy VII story. It's that important to the overall experience. But this is me segueing into Drew basically telling us why Zack is the best boy.
So Zack is the embodiment of a good human. And the way that he's written, and you'll discover this yourself as like you go through this, because I second what Word just said. Once you're finished with Final Fantasy VII, this is worth the journey, like tenfold. It's laid out a little bit differently because it's not, a turn-based RPG with the active time battle system. You might have seen like things scrolling in the top corner in Word's gameplay here. So it relies heavily on that as well as different abilities, and it utilizes the materia system in a slightly different manner. But just fleshing out his experience and how Zack handles the type of adversity that he goes through in his own journey, it just speaks to how well they wrote that character. And then to see the relationship and the correlation to some of the main players in Final Fantasy VII, it's cool to be able to fill in those gaps that you're gonna see, because it's precisely the reaction that you had in your playthrough of 7 in regards to Zack. That's how it was for me. Like, I think this is only my second playthrough of 7 that I've ever had, prior to us getting to Dirge and now the remake.
Interesting.
And remembering some things and seeing like what they just did not tell you in that original, and gave us the opportunity to experience not only in this entry but in the movie, in the several different entries in this franchise that they've had so far. It's really neat to see them flesh out everything and how they're all interconnected. Because I don't know about y'all, when they started doing this, a lot of the talk became, they're milking the franchise. Like, why are there so many Final Fantasy VII titles? Now there's a movie. It can't possibly be, any better than Spirits Within was XYZ.
Just FYI, I completely simp for Spirits Within and actually think it's a decent movie.
I'm going to leave this conversation now. It's been great talking to you.
Good knowing you. Go on, continue.
No! Words!
Yes, I like Spirits Within.
I liked the movie when it came out, but I don't think it holds up very well.
It probably does not. I refuse.
I will sit and have an argument with you about this another time. But you were on a timer, so let's gush over Zack a little more.
All right.
And Genesis.
I will leave you with this because I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Yeah.
Okay. When you think about an excellently written character, you think about the impact that they have on you and how you can relate to them in your own life. If you're following the path of trying to be the best person that you can be, no matter what's put in front of you, no matter what hardships that you may be going through at the time, Zack is that. manifest in digital form. And the fact that he's not a real person and the emotions that he evokes from you because of that, that is what makes him great for me.
I think I once saw someone describe it. There's a scene in a location that's in Crisis Core that isn't in Final Fantasy VII, Benora. And there's a scene where Drew's favorite character, Genesis, basically trips over Zack and just falls flat on his face. And it's funny when you watch it, but it actually summarizes like exactly his character. He is just a completely normal human being, and he's presented as a normal human being with good ideas. He's not an idiot like a lot of these kind of characters are. He's just like the normal person in this world who's like, what the fuck is going on with you people? Could you just sort out your crap, please? I don't need to deal with this. I just want to make a cart for my girlfriend, and like, he doesn't understand that Shinra are evil, and that they've somehow make that work. Like, it also humanizes Sephiroth a lot, which is probably my favorite addition to the Final Fantasy. It makes you see that Sephiroth wasn't always just whatever the hell he is in 7.
Yeah, the humanization of Sephiroth was a it was a huge feat, especially because of all of the interactions that we've had with Sephiroth so far. Yeah, I'm excited for you to experience that for the first time, because that in and of itself was mind-blowing the first time I went through it. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? No. Lots of those.
Yeah, and as a whole, I mean, there's so many characters and things and memes and things like that. I've been exposed to so much of it. I just have no context for it. So that's been kind of fun to go through something and be like, oh, I recognize that now. You know, oh, that's where that came from.
So that's why people are obsessed with squats in Final Fantasy VII. Or Gungaga. Yeah. I still don't understand why that became a meme. It's like
just because it's fun to say. Honestly, it just comes down to wordplay.
Me, Gungaga.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Not that I've ever been known to understand meme culture, but
You know what I'm really happy isn't a thing?
what?
The goddess. Because that can kick rocks, and Genesis can kick rocks. And I'm so mad that it's rumored that he's making a return appearance. I'm really mad about that.
Okay. There are things in Final Fantasy VII Remake that may upset you. I am not going to confirm or deny Genesis' appearance. Don't take that to mean that I'm saying he is there, because I know how this rumor shit works and how easy it is to like give it away.
They already made me
just
mad.
just
Or
accept.
you can't make me any more mad.
Just accept Remake for what it is.
I'm loving what I'm experiencing so far. And truth be told, the fact that you, Tom, you're going through 7 right now, and if you do choose to go through Remake, it's the best way to approach that game. Like, have you played Remake yet or no?
The first level.
Oh, the first level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. Because man, I'm like trying not to say anything terrible. It's like I'm really enjoying myself. There you go. I can definitely say that without saying
It's a great
anything.
game. Remake is a great game.
Rated T for Teen.
I think one of the additions to this game that I really appreciated is the split gameplay. Like, there's one side where you can play through the story and do the materia and level up that way, but then on the flip side, let's say you just have a few minutes and you want to get some Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core action, and you only have like 5 minutes. There's missions that you can do that also aid your level progression in the story. And there's also ways you can get materia, which will make you stronger for the main story, which is really, really cool. And I appreciated that piece in sharing it with my audience because we could all enjoy the story, but then the grinding piece, I could do all that I wanted all day long. Because I know one of the things about longer story games when I share them, I'm afraid to do anything normally because I don't want to accidentally go somewhere where I'll trigger a story element. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I try to record it on the TV like a pleb. But in this way, like, I thought that was really cool because, like I said, I finished the story when I was on break all those years ago at my job. But like, if I knew I only had 5 minutes of my break to play, I could still get in some like leveling up and other materia, and that part to me was really, really cool. There's just so much that this game did right. And the fact that it came out so long ago and holds up well today, I appreciate that fact a lot.
Its origins as a mobile game, as a handheld game, better phrasing, are very apparent in the mission system, which I should have gone to a save point actually.
I'm garbage at that part, by the way.
Which the missions? Oh, everyone's garbage at the stealth section. Don't worry about it. Let's bring this up quickly. Be the final thing we'll show off for someone who's never played
stealth
this.
mission, you say?
Yeah.
Do I actually?
Of course, I got to the stealth section. So
this one. For me,
also, the menus in the PSP version are far superior to the new version. Like this is,
on that words,
it looks like an actual business card. You don't agree, or you do agree?
I do not agree. I enjoy this. From
I
the
love
lens
this.
Of,
it's
I've been
so
playing through
unique
all of
and
them back to back, and so I appreciated that continuity. It was really neat.
Anyway, no, sorry, didn't mean to be dismissive, but I do want to show just how many missions there are in this. There is something like 200 to 300 missions, where you can just at any point. This shows how it was a portable game. That you could just load up any mission. It would take you like 2 minutes to complete, and you would get rewarded with summons and materia and items that would benefit you. And it was just the most fun, addictive thing ever. My PSP buttons no longer work.
Really?
Because I used the damn thing so much. I played through this game at least twice on the PSP. And I don't know if you know this, but if you play through a second time, you can mega break your stats to like the point where they're just massively like OP, and you're like doing 99,999 damage to everything.
So it had like New Game Plus on it?
Oh yeah, and it carried over everything. So you could literally just continue on from there, and then I would play it in hard mode where those numbers actually mattered, and it was just...
Was that new back then? Like, I don't remember New Game Plus. I don't know when that started.
Chrono Trigger technically invented New Game Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely a rarity around the time that because obviously Chrono Trigger would have implemented it first. But around this time, I know Crisis Core had it. What else had it?
A lot of Square stuff did, which was great. And
I know some games on 360 had it too, no?
yeah, some did, but Square were very common with them. They gave it to a lot of their games. At 10-2, Dissidia. I'd love to do an episode on Dissidia. But
I want to play Dissidia. I've never touched it.
play the PSP version. Stay away from the new one. The new version was only designed for on. What's that?
Doesn't the new one have everything?
No. The new one was an online multiplayer focused one with 3v3 matches, and you had to complete online matches to unlock the story.
Why would they do that?
That's no good.
Because they're Square Enix. Hey there folks, welcome to the end of the video. If you got this far, please allow me to just take a moment of your time to let you know that we do the show every second Sunday over on Twitch. We basically just sit down, myself, Gamer Tom, and our guest, and just talk about RPGs. Any relevant discussion, news, reviews, look backs, that sort of thing. If you want to support us, you can actually have some input on the games that we discuss, as well as the topics, and you can do that over on Patreon, same URL as here. That's TNEQL. So please consider checking that out. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you stay beautiful. Take care.